Welcome to the Lightworker Podcast. I am your host, Natalie Ubel-Grant. I am a lightworker, a meditation facilitator, Reiki master, and a health and wellness enthusiast who thrives on helping people. Connection is my superpower, and I just love bringing people to a space where transformation can occur. Are you looking for information on being a lightworker? Are you a lightworker and just love collecting knowledge from other lightworkers? Then this space is made especially for you. I hope you enjoy today's episode. This week, Rebecca Cummins has come on to the Lightworker Podcast to ask me some questions. She wanted to ask about the martial arts that I do, Tung Su Tao, and the journey to second Dan. So a bit of a share from me this week. I hope you enjoy.
Yeah. Make sure that that's working. Yes, we're back on the count. Okay. You do yours. You know there's no intro in here, Becky. It's just nice to be able to set the couch up and have a chat of water. You've got your coffee. We've got Archie to help. Archie's hanging out with us as well. And we'll see where the combo goes. Well, I'm going to start. I'd love you to start. I want to hear about your recent new level we've acquired at, is it your black pants?
Oh, is that what you want to hear about?
Yes, I have a question about that.
Okay, what's your question about my black
From
pants?
when you started, was it 3 years ago?
Martial art.
Well, the decision to go down this path of, you got your black belt and then the next bit.
Okay, yes. So in 2023, I got my black belt.
Mm-hmm.
So first Dan in Tung Su Tao, which it took me 8 years to get to black belt because we had COVID in the middle of it.
Yes.
So there was a lot of classes that couldn't be run because of all the rules and regulations that everybody had. So it extended it out to the time that it took to get to black belt.
But I'm thinking along the lines of when we all start Reiki and Reiki 1 and then you decide to go Reiki 2. So starting your martial arts and then going, okay, I'm gonna go for my black belt, or I'm gonna go for this next bit. From where you started, yes, the nat where you started to the nat you are now, practices, you're a different person, a more evolved person. Where are you?
Yeah, they're good questions. Okay, so when I got my black belt, I did not feel, I don't know what you think you feel actually, what it's going to be like, because the process of getting it is you learn different combinations, forms in a formal way in Tung Su Tao. So there's a method in the way that they do things from white belt through the colours to black belt. You're conditioning the body, you're practicing being able to get the body to do the blocks and the kicks and building up strength and tone and flexibility. And so you're learning the basics, the foundations, and there's a lot to learn to be able to get to that first Dan where you get your black belt and they say, yay, you're a black belt.
You're a black belt. But that's not the end.
No, and that's interesting because for some people they start doing martial arts for many different reasons. So, they might have had an experience in their life and it created a fear response for them, so they felt like they needed to be able to protect themselves. Or they, they feel like they need to prove something about how strong and capable they are. And so everyone comes at it for different reasons.
What was your reason for coming into martial arts?
So the reason for really basic, I would watch my daughters do martial arts and I'm sitting there watching and listening to the voice in my head that's saying, you should do this.
How long did you listen to that voice in your head?
Not long, actually. I started 6 months after my eldest daughter. So it was 6 months of watching, and it was at the Christmas party for the club that a couple of the instructors said, you should join. And I went, well, I'll think about it, because when you decide to do it, it's a commitment.
That's it.
And when I decide to do anything, I give it my everything. So it's like, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it, and it's going to be the thing you do. Like, I was a bit like that when I did yoga. I was a bit like that, I'm definitely like that with Reiki. I'm boots in.
Yes.
So I had to really think about it, because I was already doing a lot. And I understand the level of commitment that's required to actually, if you're going to do something, you want to be good at it.
And it's more than once a week.
Yeah. So what I started with, I said to the instructors, I can commit to 2 days a week. And I did that for, 5 years.
Okay.
Of 2 days a week, because I had little kids. And so I had to fit it into being mum and cooking dinners, and because it was all the classes are always on when it's dinner time, because everybody works.
Yes.
So I worked that out, and I did that. But then I started to get into the upper levels. So once you get into the advanced class, you sort of track, how am I going? Like, how much am I actually learning when I'm only doing, 3 hours of martial arts a week?
Yeah.
And sure, I've got, the coloured belts to say, hey, you're that level, because I've got a competency at that particular level. But, am I sort of doing it justice? So then it was, I think I'm going to commit to an extra day.
There was something said, it's time to.
Yeah. So, I committed to that extra day. Plus I had a fear of sparring.
You had a fear of sparring, so let's do more of it.
Yes.
Okay. So some people would run away and go, no.
So most people that know me know that when a fear comes up, I face it. Because I understand that the reason the fear is there is because I'm about to learn something.
So you turn it around and frame it in such a way that you actually go, yes, I want to face this fear.
Yeah, and
because I'm going to learn something from it.
Yeah, the only reason the fear was present is because I really didn't know how to do it. And you're not going to learn how to do it unless you put yourself in the situation where you can learn it. And when you're in the higher belt levels, this is kind of blue belt to red belt, to the different levels of the red belt, you sort of get to that spot where you've learned the basics, and so then you start practicing with your cohort in a safe environment, how to do sparring and all the rest of it. But still, I wasn't that good at it, because I still had the fear inside of me, and then you get to a point where you've got your level of competency, and you've at the what they call first GUP, which is the level before you get your black belt. And I got the opportunity, which we do in Tang Soo Tao. The way that you get your black belt is you attend a camp. And that camp is 3 to 4 day intensive training, where you wake up at 5 a.m. and then you go to bed at 9 p.m. And for those 3 or 4 days, you're training.
Yeah.
You're on the floor.
So physical training the whole day.
Physical training the whole day, and you have a break for lunch.
Yes.
And we fast during one of those days to put your body under stress, so that you can see how you cope under stress. Because we live in a world where there are no stresses really, except for the ones we create in our own mind. In Australia, I can't comment about other places in the world.
Well, we can only reflect on our experience.
So we're not running from dinosaurs anymore, and my neighbour's not trying to kill me. So there's not a lot of opportunity for you to find out what would happen if you're put into a fight or flight response, if you're put under pressure. what would your body respond like?
Now, I know you fast already. So
Yes.
was that an advantage to having that already, or is this something new to then fast and be physically active?
So it was an interesting thing because yes, I can fast and I'm conditioned in fasting, but then to add like a whole day of exercise with that fasting, that was a challenge.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting to watch.
Yeah.
And then for the person that I was training with, for him, he was a young kid,
Yeah.
you know,
Who'd
never fasted before, who'd never put his body into this kind of pressure before.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm, at the time I was, what was this, 3 years ago, 48, 47, 46, 45. I was 45. So I had mileage in lived life, whereas he hadn't. So, it was interesting to see the difference.
You up together.
It was, yeah. So we were supporting each other, and there were times where I had meltdowns, and then he had meltdowns, and then we, worked through together, because you want each other to do well in the camp, and you want to get as much out of it as you can. But that time on the floor changed something.
Mm-hmm.
And you really felt the difference between being the coloured belts to actually I can do this. And because of that time, and because you put under the pressure and you see, actually, I can do this without thinking, there is a difference that happens. But then you get the black belt and you look up the line, and all of the advanced instructors have black pants.
Okay, so that's next.
And so my training buddy, and I won't say his name, but my training buddy and we looked up the line and went, oh, now we need the black pants.
Yeah, well, I guess for a lot of us, we think it stops at black belt. We didn't realise that there's actually more to
people that don't go
we think that's the pinnacle.
Yeah.
But it's obviously not.
For me, it was the beginning of the journey, which is really interesting. So the way that I kind of can describe it is that in Reiki, we learn level 1, we learn level 2, we learn master 3, and then you get your teacher. Mm-hmm. So there's 4 levels to learning Reiki. And you learn the basics, and if you come and learn all of the levels, you'll come out and something changes in you.
Yes.
If you only do up to level 2, you don't know what a Reiki teacher knows.
No.
So it's like if you jump out at green belt, you don't know what a black belt knows.
No.
You could think you do, and we do go through kind of an egoic stage at level 2 at green belt, because you learn you learn technique combination number 5, and you feel like a martial artist for the first time.
Right. Okay.
Right. So that's taken like 3 years to get there.
It looks the business.
Yes. And you actually sort of feel like it too. You sort of, something clicks in your body, and you think, oh yeah, my kicks are good, and I've got my everything in the right place. And that's what happens to people when they get to kind of level 2 in Reiki. They learn a bit about doing house clearing and distance Reiki and helping people with energetic attachments and things like that. And you feel like someone who could really make a difference. But you sort of, the difference is you're still coming from an ego.
Yes.
And that's not a bad thing.
No,
it's part of the journey.
Part of the process. But if you go through your martial arts, and same with Reiki, is that if you just go for your certificates or just go for your levels, you still need to put in the daily practice.
Well, that's the difference between being what I think, where you actually are a martial artist and you're just someone who talks about being a martial artist, is that's the devotion to the practice. It's the dedication to actually showing up and doing your work. And like I said, I like to show up and do the work. And so I understand when I make a commitment to something that I'm going to then honour my commitment. When I can. There are days where you can't, you're sick and so you don't go, or something happens, and family, for me, if family need me, well, they are my priority, so I don't go.
But if one of your instructors has said you need to be practicing this at home,
then you do.
Because
I'm up and down the
hallway.
Doing my cures.
You've got a good hallway for that.
It's a good hallway. So, but you get to this black belt, and a lot of people leave.
Oh, they actually leave.
They actually get their black belt and they go. And for me, I couldn't do that because
all this dedication in.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I'm only just starting to feel like I'm getting some feeling happen in my body when they say, because the point is to be able to really connect to the energy of the earth and the energy within you.
And is that side of things really taught in the martial arts, or is that coming from where you come from, the life you lead? Do you bring more of that into it?
Well, it is what then gets talked about a lot more when you get your black belt.
Right. So if you leave with your black belt, you kind of
you do miss something that people that don't journey with their black belt beyond, they will never get. So, and it's a bit like when I teach a Reiki teacher and they never teach a student.
Right.
And that can be fear that prevents them from doing it. It can be all sorts of different reasons, right? Some people just learn because they learned it for themselves and that's all that they want, and that's okay. But there's something that happens because part of getting your black belt now is there's the commitment to now you're actually going to be teaching. So
more time.
Yeah, because what happens when you then go back, which is the same thing, you would have had this experience when you came and sat in a level 1 Reiki class, right? Yep. When you go back to a white belt class as a black belt and have to then convert what you've learned and start teaching a brand new student the basics.
Not overcomplicate it.
You have to break it down so that it's easy for them to learn. You can't teach them all the black belt moves because they don't even know how to do a lower block. And so what that does is deepens your own awareness about what it is you teach, what it is that you've learned, what it is that you're teaching, how to break a complex move down into a very simple move. And it's the same with teaching Reiki.
That's it.
You all of a sudden you're a channel, you can talk to ghosts, you can channel, you can help people become more self-aware and all this kind of thing. But then you come and get a brand new human that's never done any of that work before, who just walks through the door completely green. You cannot overload them with what you know. You have to then go down to that level of remembering what it was like when you first walked through that door and nurture them, plant seeds and help them find it themselves. And so that's what, it's really similar, the path for me of learning Reiki and then becoming a teacher and then having you say, come and teach me. Come and teach me Reiki. And I'm like,
oh my goodness.
But that actually then just doing it was able to then really confirm what I had learned was valuable for me. And to then be able to see myself in you when I was teaching that in Reiki. And the same thing when you teach a white belt. So when I got my black belt, I then got the white belts.
So you're responsible for that class.
I spent 2 years teaching white belts. So I'm then responsible for the new people that are coming through into the
that's huge
association. And I tell you what, you learn on the job.
Crash course,
because you've got to break that stuff down and then you work out what works and what doesn't work. And it is part of your deepening of this understanding. But what it did for my own practice was made me so much better at my basics. Which then I found that connection to what we call the 1 point or the Dantian in martial arts, which is this feeling of being completely centered in your body, and it's like all of a sudden this magnet is holding you to the earth.
Right.
It's the only way I can describe the sensation in my own body, and you might talk to different martial artists and they'll have a different way of articulating it. And it's not always present. It's like this elusive thing. It's like meditation, right? You sit down for your first meditation and you actually suck at it.
Yes.
You sit down and you realize, oh my God, everyone lives in my head.
Yes, free. And
then
what and go away, and where's the space and where's the nothing?
What gap?
I can't do this, and then you never try it again.
And it's so busy, and you didn't realize that it's so busy, but because you've stopped and you're watching it, you start to see something that you didn't see before because you weren't present to see it. So same kind of thing happens with when you get to this black belt. The deepening of the practice is to really build a connection with that centeredness in yourself. And that's where there's a difference between what you see when you see someone who has got to black belt level and that has gone on and to try and connect to this feeling that happens in their body versus someone who is in the coloured belt space. And that's not to say that somebody with the coloured belt can't find this. They can.
Absolutely.
But it's not often that you see it.
Yeah.
And even for me, I'm still practicing. I'm not saying I'm any master at it, but I get glimpses of it now.
But being a black belt now and going back to the basics and becoming aware of how important the basics are.
Yeah, it really.
And knowing that how it feels when you get it. You're like, I want more of that.
Yeah,
because
and that
it
becomes
works.
the thing that you're going
and
after.
You say now you're not chasing that, but that's what you're after.
Yeah, so they talk about polishing the stone. You know, they talk about refining your techniques and making sure that, you know, that grounding is there, that waist is there, because in Tung Su Tao, it's sort of the big focus is on utilizing the waist like a whip. So the energy transfers because you're letting the unfolding of the motion is what's creating that power exchange at the end of the motion, and the waist is where it'll be. Yeah, it's like pulling the bow on a string. On a you know, pulling the string back on a bow or an arrow, and it's actually pulling it all the way back. Yeah, and then just letting it go. Yeah. That's what the waist does. Yeah. So that then when everything comes all at the same time,
it works perfectly.
It all just works, and then the energy transfers. And in Tung Su, we get the opportunity in gradings to break boards and break bricks.
Yes.
And the purpose of that is to see whether your technique is any good.
Yep.
Because they are real boards and they are real bricks.
Right.
And so
no fake ones.
No. And so if your technique doesn't work, you won't break the board and you won't break the bricks.
Do you spend time finding your center and finding yourself, like calming your mind and calming all that thing before you go ahead and break a board? Or is this just, you could just walk up and do it?
So spending time, we meditate.
Yeah.
So
if you know you're coming up to having to do that.
Yeah. So it's funny because you practice your technique, you have so much confidence in your technique. Yeah. You just know it's going to break.
Right. Okay.
So there's not really any mental preparation.
Question. No. Okay. All right.
Required. If you have got, will this break in your mind? You need to go back to basics and practice your techniques.
Yeah. It's not going to work.
It won't work.
But having that confidence and that knowing in your head of, I've practiced this, I have done this, I'm doing this correctly.
Yes. And that confidence.
And not allowing that little bit of doubt to come in.
Yeah.
That little question.
The only reason that the doubt is there is if you have not practiced enough.
And knowing
and you have to know yourself.
Yep.
So even that's like the thought thread that just popped in around that is that so in martial arts we bow to everyone when they come into the hall. You know, instructors, students, everyone bows. And the purpose for bowing is to foster awareness.
Right.
Awareness of self and awareness of the space and awareness of who is in the room. And it's kind of a tool that they use to make sure that you are building your peripheral awareness.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Because I have to know if a sabun walks into the room, because I have to bow to them.
Right, so that's someone who's
a higher ranking black belt.
But on the other flip side, prepares you that if you walk into a space, you can block the room. You know who's there.
Exactly.
You can check the energy too.
Yes. So nothing is done in martial arts without there being a reason behind it.
Right. I hadn't thought of it like that.
Yeah. And we all go through our own mental
spatial awareness
preparation for all of this, right? So so there's this whole other level to the martial arts of this protocol and the reason we follow these protocols. And at the time when you're in these lower belts, you don't actually realize what they're for. Right. But it's to start teaching you right from the moment that you walk in the door.
Right.
That everything is about being in your own body and being your own teacher.
Yes.
So no self, no other people, know what's in the space. And when you come into that space, if an instructor is giving you feedback, being able to hear that feedback without taking it on as a criticism when you're in the lower belts is quite difficult.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't really talk about that until you get into the higher belt. So it's not like a discussion around,
if you take it,
you've decided to come in and be a martial artist. Well, here you go, do what you're told.
Okay.
Right. And everyone goes through this mental gymnast around, the chatter that comes up in your head. But this is the beautiful invitation of doing the martial arts and getting to the different levels really hones this understanding around self-discipline, self-awareness, and making sure you build confidence in what you're doing for yourself. So everything is very self-focused.
Yes.
But what that does is highlights all of your fears.
Yay. Because we love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It brings up all of your deepest, darkest fears.
But in that way, Reiki would help you because
so much.
Yeah.
For me, like it was,
they go together.
They live together, these two things. It's actually amazing.
They both help each other.
For me, they have helped. Both have showed me that there's this path that if you're a human being on this planet and you're breathing, there is a path that we walk that if we're willing to put in the time, energy and effort into knowing yourself, into outing your fears and into actually showing up because you want to be better at doing whatever it is you're going to do.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is, go to the gym and lift weights if it's doing martial arts or it's being a Reiki master, whatever. But put in the time, energy and effort. Don't just think about it.
Yeah.
Because I can't think about being good at doing a front kick.
No.
And be good at doing a front kick.
Or complaining, why am I not good at it if you haven't actually put the practice in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you want to be good at doing a front kick, you need to have done thousands of front kicks.
Yes.
And you need to be so present when you're doing that front kick. Is my waist in? Is my hoodie in it? Is my, like, am I grounded? Am I pivoting the grounded foot? Are my hands where they're supposed to be? Right?
Am I going to fall over?
There's a lot of things that is there when you're learning that when you get to that black belt, you're not thinking about anymore. It just happens. And
I think it's just occurred to me that because when I did my Reiki 1 with you, I was so frustrated after learning Reiki 1 because it was like, I can only look at myself.
Yeah.
And if I got irritated, okay, look within.
Yeah.
Look within yourself. Where are you irritated? What are you irritated? What is it? Because it's not the person who's made you irritated. It's there's something here that stirred something up in me. And I was frustrated for a very long time.
And it's, none of us are immune to that.
No, but but also Reiki 1 was great for that. But I can also then see coming through, getting past Reiki 2 and then doing the teacher master training is that you then feel more comfortable looking at, okay, and I don't like to use the word triggered, but when we do get triggered by something, my thinking now isn't you did that to upset me. It's, okay, what's that stirred up in me?
Yeah.
And if I can follow it through, then it's gone.
Yeah.
And I've let it go. And that's, won't trigger me again.
Yes.
And then, peacefully I can exist.
Yes.
How much nicer is that than being constantly afraid, anxious, angry, all those kind of things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it comes through being self-aware.
But practicing that
and
way.
then actually putting it into practice.
Yes.
And looking at it, you know, like if I have an instructor that will say to me, oh, your chamber hand's not in the right spot, my brain will instantly say, yes, it is. Right?
Okay.
But then when I actually physically look and go, I'll go, oh shit, there it is. Right spot. Right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time we think we know.
That's it.
Because we're listening to the think.
Yes.
And
of course I'm in the right spot.
Right. I've done 50 of these. I know how to make sure my hand's in the right spot.
I come up from a gym where there's no mirrors.
Yeah, right.
So our coach is our reflection.
Yeah, wow.
And when you ask, and you see this everywhere, you see something do a basic squat. Okay, what do you think that looked like?
Yeah.
Versus what actually happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to be able to take critique, because if you're honest, I can't see myself. I intend to do it correctly.
That's right.
That's my intention. But I could have it horribly wrong.
Yeah.
So having to take that feedback.
Yep.
Without arguing the toss and go, no, I was in the right place. Like, actually.
Yeah.
Let's play that back.
And that's an important thing to be able to take on without instantly listening to the thought field that wants to tell you the fear-based thing.
Yes.
Because the fear-based thing is just old patterning that's trying to keep you safe.
Yes.
And it's not always relevant.
It was from a time where maybe that little moment in time where that thought process actually cemented.
Yeah.
I needed to be kept safe. But now, 20, 30 years down the track, it's no longer the same scenario. Yeah. But that behavior is still your default.
And it can come from, it's not even just stuff from this life. Like,
yes.
Some of the things when I've sat with, why did that bother me so much? Why did Nancy flare up so loud in my head over this one little thing?
But you can't find a home for it in this life.
I can't find a home for it in this life. But what I see it as is an opportunity to tidy up karma from other lifetimes for me. So I go to the trouble of doing a past life regression or doing my own meditation where I ask to be shown whatever it is that's going to bring me in the information that I need to help calm my physical body so that the next time when I show up, I can see, did it shift? Because if it shifted, then the person that was the antagonist should still be able to do the same thing and I don't have a physical response to it.
And that's when you have that knowledge and you're like, oh, past me, she would have thrown the toys out. Absolutely. And you're like, I'm really quite proud of myself now.
Yeah. And so
I've done the work.
I can talk to bowing, right? So when I first started in the club, I had a physical response issue with bowing.
Bowing to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm submitting to them.
Yes.
Right.
And that's all I thought it was. I just thought it was all right.
Well, that was the thought process that was offered to me that I was agreeing to, which wasn't true.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not why we bow.
No.
But no one had mentioned why we bow. No one really goes into the ethos behind it until you get into the upper levels of the belts, right? Mm. So in the meantime, I've got triggers.
Do they help you with that triggers, or is it up to you to sort your own triggers out?
It depends who the teacher is.
Right. Yeah.
And it depends as the student what you ask.
True. Because
if you ask, they're very happy to talk to you about it.
Yes. Or you could just get cranky and...
Yeah, because they're not mind readers.
No. No one is.
No one is. So if you ask, they're very happy to talk to you about it.
So did you ask or did you battle with it?
So we had this beautiful teacher. His name was Subramaniam Anthony Brown. And he was the survivor of a motorcycle accident, and he was a very well-respected acupuncturist on the Sunshine Coast. And he was my Subramaniam. So, and he was a really special guy. Mm-hmm. Like, he'd walk into a room, and look, he had one arm that didn't work. He had a piece of leather that held his arm where he wanted it to be. Yeah. And he taught the whole class, and just a beautiful human, and he was the first person that explained the bowing and the why to us. But until he did that, I had to actually work on, well, this is just what they do, Nat. Deal with Nancy, tell her to get out of my head, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's unhelpful. It's not helping me in that moment to listen to that voice. So stop giving it permission.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as he gave that explanation around what it's actually there for and why everything in Tung Su is done calculatively.
Yeah.
There's a reason behind why they do what they do. And it's not always obvious when you're brand new.
No.
And so
much is.
There's that level of trust that you need to put into your teachers to trust that they have your best interests at heart.
Yeah.
And that was what he said. You know, he was saying, you know, I'm here when I give you a critique, when I say something to you.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because I care.
Right.
I'm doing it because I want you to get the best out of it.
Yes.
That you possibly can.
So your part is to
then you be your own teacher and you hold your end of the bargain up.
Yeah.
And then we bow to each other because as the teacher, without students, he doesn't continue to learn.
That's true.
And as the student, without the teacher, we can't learn.
No, that's it.
So it's a reciprocal, it's like an infinity.
So did that just, okay.
Something clicked.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, yeah. And then he talked about the awareness training. He's like, you know.
Yeah, that's something I hadn't thought of.
We need you to know to scan a space. You've got to know who's in that room. You need to have eyes in the back of your head. Because if someone's coming to attack you and you can't see it,
and you
need to feel it.
Wow. Because, like nowadays, you wander around in the shops, you wander around anywhere, and people just walk. They just walk, or they just drive, or they just whatever. And like headphones as well.
They're not even
They're
present.
in there. Exactly. They're not even present. The world could explode. They'd be like, oh, where's that?
Where did that go?
Yeah, exactly. So
exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of the really beautiful lessons that I've kind of really taken on board from it is this deep understanding of being your own teacher.
Yeah.
That someone is simply giving you an option when they give you an opinion. You know, your chamber hand's in the wrong spot, or you're standing wrong, or whatever, and you've got Nancy in your head saying, "No, I'm not." Right?
Simple move. I can do that.
I've done 50 of these.
Exactly.
And it's that trusting in the teacher that, you know, well, they can see something you can't see, and their motivation is not because they're trying to pick on you or mess your day up.
No.
Their motivation is to try and get you to be the best version of you that you possibly can. Your 50% of that is, can you change? Can you put your chamber hand where it needs to be? Can you stand the way you're supposed to stand? Can you check in your global positioning, is everything where it's meant to be? Without listening to Nancy, who's telling you that she knows everything.
Because she hasn't even looked where your hand is. She just
assumes. She assumes everything. And that's our ego.
Yes.
Right. And that's ultimately what we're trying to overcome. And the only way to overcome ego, like properly overcome it, is to practice whatever it is you do and get so good at it that it happens on autopilot.
Yes.
So that you can smash out a Jung without thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because you know your body knows where it needs to be, because everything works in harmony, so it becomes like a dance.
Yes.
And there's no mind when you're doing it. So you're not thinking about where the hands and everything is, because you've gotten so confident at it that it just does it.
Yes.
And that level of confidence puts you in a very different place mentally than people that are still listening to their heads.
Yes.
So it's like, you know how we talk about in Reiki, where if you have something challenging that happens in your life, it puts you in a fear frequency. So then you drop down, and then you have all the thoughts come up in your head.
It's busy.
It's so busy, and there's so much chatter going on, and it's overwhelming, and the body responds to it, and you don't even know up or down or where
you have to try and discern all of those voices. Which one am I supposed to listen to? Yeah.
And as you start working through Reiki and presence and being mindful and doing all the practices, you notice your mind gets quieter.
100%.
Same thing happens in martial arts.
Yeah.
You come in and you got so much head chatter and you know everything and you're just so good, or a lot of, so with one of the things that my new I've got lots of teachers
Yeah.
in the Tangsu, but one of the ones that's popping in my head now is Kwanjon Nim's field camp. So one of the things that he sort of said in the camp, the last one that we did, was that when we laugh, he says most women will giggle and laugh when they're practicing and in training, which is me 100%.
Yeah.
And that's just lack of confidence.
Yes.
That's actually, you need to do more repetitions.
Right.
You need more practice.
So that you can do it without.
So that, because the giggling is showing you that you have lack of self-confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
And thought of it like that, but it is.
And for men, they will come in macho.
Bravado. Yeah.
Full, back up, I can do this, I'm good at everything. And
they
are very rigid and very, very rigid is probably the best word. And they will put lots of upper body effort into it to prove themselves. Also shows a lack of confidence in their ability. Right? So it's like their facade they put up. And I thought that was a really interesting insight, because I completely agree. The reason I laugh is because I actually still, particularly with sparring, so I'm still working on sparring.
Still happening.
Is just that lack of repetition and lack of practice that that brings that in. Whereas if I pay attention, I'm not laughing when I do my heels.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing when I'm doing my combinations and all the rest of it. I've got a confidence there that I can see. So it's like, for me, that's my indicator of where I've got to practice now.
Yeah.
Is where's that lack of confidence going? So in the black belt grading, I didn't have to, but I chose to break a brick with my head.
Right.
And I was completely confident that I'd be able to do it. And it did. It just went, dunk,
and that was
and then the brick just smashed, and I remember touching my head thinking, did I even touch that? It broke.
But there was no sensation to suggest
no, and I didn't have a bump or anything, which I found fascinating.
You were right there.
And and the same thing happened with the elbow. So it was, the confidence was there.
Yeah, but that's repetition. That's the discipline of showing up, taking on board the instruction, practicing.
So, and then come around to second dan, right? So you have the opportunity, should you choose to do it, to break 2 bricks with your head.
I'm going to assume you said yes.
I did not.
Oh, really?
No, and it was interesting because I didn't have confidence that I was going to break it.
Right. Not there yet. Is it still coming?
Don't know. Okay. It's really interesting, but
it's not something you have to do to pass. It's just an opportunity.
Particularly with the breaking things with your brain, like that we want safety first in Tangsu Tao.
If you don't have the confidence, then it's just ego who's going, well, I'm going to have a go.
And I was very happy to sit back and say, I'm being my own teacher.
Yeah.
I'm listening to my internal space here. When I think of 2 bricks on that thing, because I know they're real, they're real bricks.
Yeah.
And it's like, do I trust my technique to be able to break those bricks? And I had to say to my teacher, I don't.
Okay.
And that's a big thing,
right?
That
should be celebrated just as much as actually breaking them.
Definitely. Whereas when my teacher said, okay, well then we want you to break 2 boards with your pseudo.
Pseudo is,
which is the bladed hand. So this bladed hand. So it's like over the top and a 2 boards.
2 boards. Okay.
I'm like, yeah, I could do that.
Confidence. Whereas I'd be like hesitating. No, okay, I'm out.
And it was funny because I went, yeah, I could do that, and then I went home and thought about it. Right? Oh,
I've said yes now.
And I said to Ben, oh my God, I'm going to have to practice. Right? And it was so funny because I went to Bunnings, bought some boards
to practice,
got Ben to chop them up for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I actually need to know if I can.
And how did the practice go?
First time.
So, with your first yes of, oh, sure.
And it just did it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I didn't tell anyone I'd had a practice.
Sneaky.
So, and it was beautiful because Kwanjon Nim sort of called me up to the table
Mm.
before I did it, and he's like, now remember, just go straight through, just all the way through, just through. And I remember when I looked at him in the eye, and I'm like, yep, I got it. And he's like, oh, she's got it.
Oh,
Just like boom, and then I went boom, and it's like, oh, and it felt really good.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
because there is, the technique is that grounding, that dropping of the one point and getting all of your weapons and into where they're going to be, and hitting the target, because if you don't hit the center,
Yeah.
and you hit slightly 1 centimeter one way or 1 centimeter the other way, it won't break. So the higher you go up, the more boards and the more bricks that they ask you to practice on. I think one of the instructors from Darwin, he's broken 5 bricks with his head.
5 bricks.
5, and it just went. Yeah. It's amazing.
Now, this has led me to another thought.
Yeah.
In Reiki, because we've been talking about this, and I've talked about this with other people as well, in that the practice.
Yes.
You do your Reiki 1, you go away, you're supposed to practice.
Yes.
Now, I've been doing Reiki for a very long time. My Reiki 1 was however long ago.
Yep.
I may not have practiced as much as I should have, but just recently it's coming to me, okay, what would happen if I did do the practice?
Yeah, what
would? And I'm just recently completed my 21 days, which I should have done at Reiki 1, but just recently done 21 days. And we've also discussed about how, we've got ups and downs of life.
Yeah.
Good days, bad days. I have a regular meditation practice already, but it wasn't enough. And we've talked about how if the practice is there and we're doing the practice of checking in with ourselves, how am I feeling? Am I centered? Is something pulling me in a different direction? If we've got that practice, when times are tough or difficult or whatever, that we still do that practice. And I imagine it's like that with your martial arts, is that regardless of what's going on, you have practices in your head that you just do regardless.
So funny, because I'll be driving and I'll be running through my hyung. Because I'm learning a new hyung for my second dan now.
Yeah.
And it's so different than.
But you need to do it.
Yeah, so you're just driving along and you're just visualizing it.
Yeah.
So training doesn't always look like arms and legs moving and sweat and all the rest of it. Sometimes it's meditating and running through it, the hyung in your head after you've done your quiet meditation. You might spend another 5 minutes just running through the hyung.
Yes.
But nothing substitutes practice.
That's it.
Like I practice Reiki.
Yes.
At some point during the day, I will sit down and I will check in on my own energy. I'll check in on what's going on in my body. And it's not always, set aside where I've got a whole hour where I get to do that. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, but then I might take 5 minutes over here and 25 minutes over there and another 10 minutes here.
That's it.
Where I actually devote my attention to the present moment.
And like we all would love to have a beautiful morning ritual.
That's our alarm, Becky.
Oh no, we've just got to do it.
I know.
Chad, well, that means that we have to come back and chat again.
It does.
It's like
I want to say thank you.
No, thank you.
Were they good questions? Leave me a comment if you enjoyed that and there was something else that you'd like to know about, because Becky and I would love to.
We want to chat some more. There's always something to talk about.
And she comes on and asks me some questions. I'm happy to share.
Wow, you're always the one asking questions. I thought this time we might ask some questions.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
If you enjoy this podcast, remember to like and subscribe and share it with someone that you think would benefit from this. Follow us on Spotify and all the podcasting apps that you may listen to your favorite podcasts through. The more we share these podcasts, the further the messages of the stories of awakening are spread. It's happening all over the world now. People are awakening, and it's an exciting time to be alive. The content found within these podcasts are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Nothing on this website is intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any physical or medical conditions. If you have any physical or medical conditions, you should seek the advice of your medical professional immediately. These podcasts have a meditative effect, so please never drive a vehicle while listening to Guided Meditation Podcast.